Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today is my October Amazon haul. So you would think that given I was gone for half the month and it was my wedding month, and you would think that I didn't have time to do a lot of Amazon shopping. And you'd be wrong, because there's always time to shop on Amazon. That's just the truth of it. So I have a small book haul for you today. It's about the same size as my September book haul, which pales in comparison to what I normally spend at Amazon in a month. But I do have 7 books to show you, and I'm really excited about each and every one of them. So here we go. The first book is called The Blackbird Season, and this is by Kate Moretti. I'm really excited for this book. I came across it when I was researching my most anticipated releases for the end of 2017. I saw this and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back and get that. It was released in September, and it is the story of scandal in a small Pennsylvania town. 1,000 birds fall from the sky dead. During that commotion, it is suspected that one of the high school teachers is having an affair with his student. That student kind of confirms that it's true, and then the student goes missing. So the teacher is now a suspect in her disappearance. There is another teacher at the school who knows the kind of person this student is, and so she's determined to prove, what's his name, Nate. She's determined to prove Nate's innocence in both the disappearance and the affair. So I love the cover of this book. I think it's awesome, and I'm just super excited to read it. So yeah, hopefully that happens soon. I feel like I say that all the time. The next book I'm also really excited about. This is The Ghostwriter by Alessandra Torre, and it's the same author as A.R. Torre, who wrote the Deanna Madden series, which is better known as The Girl in 6E. She's one of those self-published authors that have made the transition to traditional publishing. This one, though, was self-published. But after reading the Deanna Madden series, I always kind of thought that I would like Alessandra Torre. I don't know why I thought that. But then I read The Girl in 6E, and I do officially really like her writing. And I'm excited for this. It is the story of a ghostwriter. This ghostwriter only has 3 months left. I'm not sure why yet, but it says, I have 3 months to write the last book of my life, 3 months to confess the details of that day and how it changed everything for me. So there's a lot of mystery. The back doesn't go into much detail, which is really alluring at the same time as being annoying. But I am excited to read it. I think it sounds great. I might be making this up, but I think that there is a conflict between the ghostwriter and one of the clients that she's writing for. So the next book is Everything You Want Me to Be by Mandy Mahia. I believe is how you say her name. There must be a theme going on for October, because this is also a story that involves a student-teacher relationship. But it's the story of Hattie Hoffman, who is found murdered. And the book is actually everything that takes place a year prior, like in the year leading up to her murder. So she's a character that is hard to define. She pretends to be different things for different people. And so her death really, from my understanding, her death sort of becomes about solving exactly who she was and determining what happened to her. I bought this book having never heard of it before, but since purchasing it, I have gone back to see that Rachel at Shades of Orange did do a review and was very happy with this book, which makes me really excited to read it. The next book is called The Mistake, and this is by K.L. Slater. And this is the story of a woman who is living with guilt and regret over the death of her younger brother. Apparently she's not really quite able to forgive herself, but she's living next door to a man that she knows really well, that she considers to be a friend. His name is Ronnie, and when he gets sick, she goes over there to sort of take care of him, and she ends up discovering something that she's not meant to see. And it's directly related to the disappearance of her brother, of her little brother. At that point, she realizes everything she thought she knew is not true, and this person that she's living next door to is not at all who she thought he was. So it's a thriller. It sounds exciting. It's vague enough to make me want to read it, and it's telling enough to make me want to read it. There's never enough time to read all the books. The next book I picked up is called Red Right Hand, and this is by Chris Holm. And I picked this up because it reminds me of a really good action movie. It's the story of a terrorist attack that leads to the discovery of a federal witness that everyone thought was dead. And the people that, or the group or the organization that this witness was testifying against, become aware, and they start hunting him down. But the FBI is preoccupied with this terrorist attack of San Francisco, and so an FBI agent calls on a bad guy a bad guy to sort of help protect this witness. And this guy, it says, once a covert operative for the U.S. military, Hendricks makes a living hitting hitmen, or did, until the very organization hunting Charlie's witness caught wind and targeted the people he loves. In this explosive thriller, Hendricks comes face to face with his deadliest enemy yet and finds himself in the middle of a terrorist plot whose perpetrators are not what they seem. This sounds like, an action movie. And it says, fast, brutal, and timely. It says a tightly constructed, crisply written, fast as hell thriller. And if you've been paying attention throughout Happy Holla Read, I reread the book Intensity because it still stands at the top of the list of my most suspenseful, most heart-pounding thrillers that I've read. And I'm still chasing the book that can knock it off the top. So maybe Red Right Hand will be that book. I don't know. I hope so. The next book I picked up is called The Fire Queen. This is the follow-up book to The 100th Queen, which I talked about shortly after starting BookTube. It was in my book title tag or something, and I haven't read it yet. But I bought the second one because that's what I do. That's my if we're being honest here, let's be honest for a second. Let's break this down. My book buying problem that I need to overcome, that I need to try to work on, is that if I buy one book in a series, like the first book in a series, I need to realize that I shouldn't buy the second book until I know that I like that series. But that doesn't happen to me. What happens to me is I'm perusing Amazon.com, or I'm walking through the shelves at a bookstore and I see a book and I'm like, oh, I have another book by that author. No, I've never read it, but I have another book by that author, so I must have this one as well. And that's how it happens. It happened with all my Jonathan Mayberry books too. I haven't read a Jonathan Mayberry book yet, and I have like 6 books by him because I found one and it looked like my kind of book, and so I bought all the other ones. But what am I doing? Tell me. Somebody please tell me. Lastly, I have the book Berlin Syndrome, and this is by Melanie Justin. It is the story of a girl backpacking, and she gets to Berlin and she actually meets this guy that she's instantly attracted to. And so she hooks up with him and they go back to his apartment, and he locks her in there and never lets her leave. It's called A Psychological Thriller of the Highest Order. Justin excavates the psychology of captivity its fear, smells, delusions, and helplessness in relentless detail and with considerable skill. Now, I'm not going to lie, like, I'm kind of fascinated by Stockholm Syndrome in books. And yes, there's a whole subgenre of dark romance novels that deal with Stockholm Syndrome, and sometimes the subject matter is handled very poorly, and sometimes, like C.J. Roberts in Captive in the Dark, the author handles it amazingly. Because it's a subject of fascination for me, this is a thriller. This is probably not going to have a happy ending. This is probably not a captive scenario that turns into a happily ever after, but I don't know. I'm not really entirely sure what to expect. All I know is that this poor girl is held captive. And it's now a major motion picture, now a movie. So I'm going to have to watch the movie and read the book and see what comes of the whole thing. But this, wherever I heard about this, and I thought it was BookTube, but wherever I heard about this, it was talked about very positively. That's my stack. That's my stack of October Amazon purchases. If you've read any of these books or heard of them, let me know your thoughts and opinions or what you've heard, down below in the comment section. And if you have any suggestions for which one I should make sure to get to soon, then please share that with me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all very soon.